there, welcome to Jujubee DIY. I'm Sarah. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today is a 4th Friday challenge. This is my challenge that I host with my friend Lisa over at our gray house. I'll tell you more about that here in just a few minutes, but today I've created 3 fabulous Dollar Tree Santa projects, and I will show you how. For this first project, we're going to need one of these mini crates from the Dollar Tree. I gave it a coat of green paint. This is the Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Antique Green. And then 2 of those wood blocks from the Dollar Tree as well that I painted with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson. Next, I'm going to take some of these tumbling tower blocks. There are 8 of them, and I'm just going to glue them side by side together. Now, if you can't find those wood blocks, you can use the foam dice that the Dollar Tree sells. Just give them a couple good coats of paint and those will work really well for this project also. Using the square ruler from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to make sure that my tumbling tower blocks are lined up nicely, and then I'm going to take 2 more tumbling tower blocks and I'm going to glue them end to end just like you see here, and then I'm going to give them that same green color chalk paint. Next, I took these little mini icons from Hobby Lobby and I gave them some fun coats of paint just to liven them up. Next, I created this free printable. It is the numbers that you're going to need for your blocks. I'm just going to cut these out, and you'll see here that each block will have, one block will have 0 through 5, and the next block will have 1, 2, 0, 6, which will also be your 9, 7, and 8. You could actually print these out on decorative paper and just Mod Podge them onto your blocks, but I'm going to take this graphite paper that I showed you in my last video, and I'm going to trace out my numbers and then I'm going to paint them on. If you're new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, hi, I'm Sarah. I like to do farmhouse and country DIYs on a budget, so if that sounds good to you, I hope that you'll stick around by hitting that subscribe button down below. Ooh, sorry about that. The camera just got bumped and it made it a little crazy. Anyhow, so I'm going to take this white Waverly chalk paint, and really the best way that I found to do a very smooth painting job is to water your paint down. You don't have to water it down a bunch. You just want it to be kind of like a thick ink consistency so that your paint glides smoothly onto your project. And I'm just using a detail brush. These are the detail brushes that I get. It's like a 10-pack from Walmart. They're made by Folk Art, and it's just their 10-pack of detail brushes. I can link those down below. So after I get all of my numbers painted on, I'm going to take those tumbling tower blocks that I painted green and I'm going to hot glue them to the top of my crate. Next, I'm going to take these Scrabble letters that I have in my stash and I'm going to spell out sleeps until. This is the only part of the project that isn't Dollar Tree products, but you definitely could get some of their metal letters or stickers to add in place of the Scrabble letters, or you could paint them on. I'm just hot gluing these down to those 2 tumbling tower blocks that we glued together end to end earlier. Now we're going to hot glue the word until to the front of those 8 tumbling tower blocks that we glued on top of our crate. That way it kind of stair steps it a little bit so you can see both words as you're looking at this calendar countdown from the front. And then I will glue Santa to the end there in the front as well. So it says sleeps until Santa. Next, we're just going to put our little blocks on the inside that we can change daily so that we've got a fun little countdown calendar for Christmas. Next, I'm going to add these little stockings that I painted. I'm going to do 2 on each side in the 2 different colors that I painted them. Editing Sarah here. I just wanted to let you know that I gave everything a couple of coats of the Delta Ceram Coat varnish just to keep those blocks protected. I don't want the numbers to rub off or wear off over time. And here's a look at the final project. I think this is so adorable and my girls are going to have fun counting down to Christmas. I mentioned before that today is 4th Friday Open Challenge that I host monthly with my friend Lisa over at Our Gray House. If you've never been to Lisa's channel, I definitely suggest you go take a look at her channel. I'll link her down below. This month's theme was Christmas, so each of the collaborators in the playlist will have a Christmas theme. I will link that playlist down below. I hope that you'll go check it out and see what all of the amazing creators have contributed to our Open Challenge this month. For this project, I grabbed one of these Santa heads from the Dollar Tree. I just traced around each of the 3D elements so that I knew where to put them back when I was done with them, and then I popped them off. I'm just going to use my heat tool and a scraper to get all the excess glue off. It's very simple. And then I created a little face using a pencil and my little teardrop eyes. I'm also going to be using one of these wood words that I picked up from the Dollar Tree that says believe, and one of these signs from the wedding section, also at the Dollar Tree, that I painted the back side of with the Waverly chalk paint in the color crimson. To paint my Santa's face, I'm using the color Sun-Kissed Peach by Apple Barrel. But if you prefer a different skin tone for your Santa, definitely check out the huge array of different colors that Apple Barrel carries. And I'm sure that you can find a color that would be perfect for your Santa too. I'm just using a detail brush to go around all of the elements to fill in his face. And I'll give this 2 coats of paint just to make sure that everything is covered and it is super opaque. For his hat, I'm going in with the Waverly chalk paint in the color crimson. I love this color for Christmas. It is, I think, the perfect Christmas color, but you could go in with any color you'd like. I think lacquer would look beautiful too. That's more of a cranberry color, and I think that that would make a very lovely Santa hat too. So I'm just going to give this 2 coats of paint. Make sure you go around the outside edge because this is a thicker piece. You'll want to paint those outside edges so that it looks finished. Then I'm going to go in with the Waverly chalk paint in the color white, and I'm going to paint his beard. So the bottom part of his beard and then the part that goes up like towards his face. And if you go into those areas that you marked off with the pencil, which you definitely want to do because you'll want to make sure that those areas are covered, you just want to give yourself a good idea as to where those elements went back, so that you can get them back in a, pretty close place. But definitely go into those areas a little bit because once you put those pieces back on, you'll want that to be completely covered. So like when I went to go put my pieces on, I did check them to make sure that everything was covered. And then I went in and fixed it wherever I needed to. Again, make sure you get those outside edges so that it looks nice and finished. So I painted the brim of his hat white and then also his mustache. And with his mustache, his nose is kind of there too. So I just created a little circle for his nose and then I painted that in with that same color I used for his face. Now we're going to work on the fun part, his eyes. So I just created a teardrop shape and I am going to fill in, I sectioned it off into 3 areas. So the bigger section there at the top will be black, and I'm just using the Waverly chalk paint in the color ink that I've watered down, and I'm just using those detail brushes from Walmart, and I'm going to fill in that whole top area with the black. And just take your time. This is sped up quite a bit. So I'm definitely not painting this fast by any means. I do take my time and make sure that, you know, I get it how I want it to look. And now I'm just going to go in with some of the Hello Hobby chalk paint from Walmart in the color Nautical for his eye color, which is the next color down from the black. And I do a little swoop into the black, like a little kind of like a wave or a swoop. I mean, it's a swoop, just to add a little more character into the eyes. And then I'm going to finish off the eye at the bottom part with white. And if you get colors in where you don't want them, you can just go back in with whatever color you might need to fix it. So, you know, if you go down into the peach color, then you could definitely use some of the peach to fill that back up. Or if you go into the blue color, then use your blue to fix where the white goes in. So that's a really great thing about paint, is that you can paint over it and fix most every problem. After I get his eyes looking how I want, I'm going to take a stylus and I'm going to add the little bit of sparkle to his eyes. So I go up into the top part of the black area and then at the very tip of the swoop that I make in that whatever color I am doing. Next, I'm taking some of this Cameo pink from Apple Barrel and I'm creating some little eyes. I'm just dabbing the paint on into a circle until I get it how I like it. And then I'm going to go in with the white and give him some eyebrows, because every expressive face needs an eyebrow. Then I'm going to put my 3D elements back on to my Santa using hot glue. And look how precious his little face is. I just love him. He's so cute. Now that the face is done, we're going to work on the rest of his body, so to speak. So I'm taking that board that I painted with the red earlier, and I'm just creating a belt. So I used my ruler. That is a ruler that I got from Michael's. It's in the drafting section, and that is a great ruler to have in your stash. So if you're looking for a little something for somebody to get you for Christmas, definitely ask for one of those, because they are fantastic. But it is a 2-inch wide ruler, so I just used that as my guide, and then I created a little belt in the middle. So that is a 2-inch square in the middle, and then I did 1/8 of an inch all the way around that for my belt. So you're just going to use your ruler and mark off 1/8 of an inch in between those two black areas, and then up at the top and bottom of those black areas to create your belt. And I'm going in with the Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Vintage Mustard, which is one of my very favorite yellow chalk paints. I painted that Believe word white with his little hat being red, and then I filled in the areas where the E would have a hole with the red paint, because they didn't come cut out. So that was kind of a bummer about those, is that the E's were not cut out, and I think that bothered some people. But for this project, I just did the red, since I was going to put it on a red background, and then used my fine liner to go around the very outside edge, and I think that that worked perfectly for those E's. Then I'm going to use my fine liner and I'm going to make stitch marks all the way around my Believe word, and this is how it turns out looking. Next, we're going to put everything together, so I'm going to use a good amount of hot glue here at the very top portion of the sign, and I'm going to glue the Santa head onto that. And then I'm going to glue that word Believe down at the very bottom. Next, I'm going to take some red and white baker's twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to create a hanger for our little Santa. If you like what you're seeing today, don't forget to hit that like button down below. That lets me know that you're enjoying the content you're seeing, and it also lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content as well, so they will share me with other people. So I'm just creating the hanger by making a lark's knot and then tying off a section at the top. And here is a look at how he turned out. I love this little guy. I think he is so adorable, and I can't wait to put him up for Christmas. Today's video is sponsored by OLLNY. They sent me 2 different kinds of fairy lights to test out and share with you today. Both sets of fairy lights are copper wire with a silver coating. They have a USB for their power supply and are rated at 5 watts. These are 33 feet long, which is a great length. This set here has 16 different solid colors and 6 special lighting modes, so you can customize your lighting to fit any decor. These are also waterproof, so you can add them outside if you'd like. They have a remote control, which is rated at 16.4 feet away. So that's great. You can sit on your couch and change your lighting on your tree or wherever you decide to put these little lights. Not only do they carry fairy lights, but they carry a large variety of different kinds of lights, like curtain lights and regular lights. And from what I can tell, these are great quality. I did have this other set that they sent me on this little tree, and it is perfect for this 4-foot tree. Absolute perfect lighting. And it looks beautiful with or without the lighting that comes on my tree. And there's different modes for both sets of remote controls. If you're interested in checking out their lights, I will link them down below with their Black Friday sales. Thank you OLLNY so much for sponsoring this video. For our third and final project of the day, I'm going to use one of these 3D kits from the Dollar Tree. This was the one that had Santa Claus in it. It came with the Santa Claus and the little bear, candy canes, and trees. It also came with the word Xmas and a glitter tree that I did not use in this project. I'm just cutting apart these trees with my box knife because of where I'm going to put them. They wouldn't really fit the way I wanted them to, so I'm just going to cut them down so that they'll fit in the little shadow box that I'm going to use. Next, I wanted my trees to have a little bit of snow on them, so I'm just dabbing a paintbrush in some white paint and dabbing that right onto my trees to make it look like they've been kissed with a little bit of snow. Next, we're going to use this little house from Plaid. This is a 2-pack that Plaid sells, and this is the smaller of the 2 houses. I am just going to trace out some paper and cut that down to fit inside my house. I gave my house a coat of the Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And as you can see, I needed that little tree to fit in the very center in the back of that house, which is why I need to cut it down. So I placed the bigger tree in the very back, the smaller tree in the middle section, and then Santa and the candy canes in the front. Next, I'm going to take some of this glitter paint from Folk Art. This is the Extreme Glitter in the color Holographic, and I'm just going to paint that on wherever I want a little extra sparkle on my project. I really love this glitter paint because the glitter does not come off all over your hands, and yet it gives a very beautiful finish. So if you've never tried that, definitely pick yourself up a bottle and give it a try. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. Here's a look at our project. I think this turned out really super cute and would be a perfect addition to any place in your home. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up and don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know which one was your favorite. Please make sure you check out the playlist from today's video to see what all of the other creators have made, and I hope you have a happy, healthy, and blessed day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!